Namaste. Take a moment to find your way to a comfortable seat or even onto your back. If you are sitting, let your sit bones rest in the earth. Bring your thumb and your first finger together into a mudra. Connecting the energy in your body. Wherever you are, even if you're on your back, you can roll back and down, creating space around your neck. Softening the shoulders away from the ears, and then imagining the head lengthening up as if there were a line of energy just radiating out of the crown of your head. Fully and deeply connected to something more. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Exhale, side up. As you inhale, imagine the breath rising all the way from your roots, straight up to the crown, taking a brief pause at the top, and then exhale, let it all out. Inhaling, rising up the spine. Exhale, let it go. 2 more full, complete breaths, just like that. Whether you're on your back or seated, use your next inhale to reach your arms up and overhead. So if you're on your back, this is going to feel like a stretching pose. And then exhale, let it go. Those of you on your back, go ahead and roll up to sitting. You're going to make your way onto your hands and knees, coming into a child's pose. So we're not going to move far. Settle in, release. Let your forehead touch against your mat or the earth, and then feel that rocking from side to side. If child's pose isn't comfortable, you can be up a little higher. Or even sitting on something here. Let that settle in. And imagine that you're breathing into your back, so into that space between your shoulder blades. Imagine the breath just expanding that space. And then slide all the way onto your belly to take a pranam. Hands coming together overhead. This is a prostration pose, so it's a prayerful pose. Staying there, taking a moment to consider your intention for showing up on your mat today. So you're still in that prostration pose. Head is down. What I want you to consider moving through today is the self-talk. The obstacles that arise telling you, I'm not good enough, I'm not flexible enough, I'm not strong enough. What value is there? Because today, what I want you to consider is that this is a shadow. Much like the shadow, that mischievous, devious, destructive shadow that Peter Pan chased. Always playing with him, never able to capture. But recognizing that the goal is not to silence the shadow, but to honor it, try to connect and unite with it, and let it know that it doesn't have the power, that you are the one that stands in the light, that you are enough, that you have enough, that you're beautiful, and that you're worthy of receiving gifts and beauty and magnificence. Make that your prayerful intention as you flow today. And then with an inhale, you're going to come up onto your elbows in your Sphinx pose. You're going to open your chest, imagine drawing your heart forward. And we're just going to take some head rolls. So you're going to press the shoulders down, but tuck the chin. And then curl the head over towards the right, pushing down with those shoulders. Let the head come to the left. And you don't want to try to go too deep, because you are already an extension here. So we're not trying to go way back. We're trying to go back enough, to get a little bit of mobility. And if that feels crunchy, don't go any deeper. Just kind of do these little head circles. And make sure you go to the opposite direction, because for some of you, it probably feels really good. You to open and roll through the chest. And you can even add the ribs, make it a little fuller movement here. Going the other way again with that rib action. The goal is freedom, it's space. Slide down, bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Inhale. Little cobra pose here. Exhale, lower down. Two more like that. We're nice and slow. Inhale, little cobra pose. Exhaling down. And pressing up all fours. Rocking back just a little bit, so it's like you're rounding, rocking forward. So here, it's like a cat-cow, so you're sucking the belly in, but you're pressing into your fingers, rocking forward. Some activation in the core here. Pushing the fingertips. Keep sucking that belly up and in. Intention to stretch, open through the lower back. And then inhale, come forward. Roll the shoulders up, back and down. Tuck your toes with your hips in a moment to pedal push through the feet. Feeling into your body. With your head, nod yes and no. And just let any of those thoughts and feelings come from the shadows. They creep in. Drift right out of the top of your head. Limitations. Like physical limitations. Those are things that we've learned how to manage. So let's say your wrist bothers you. You can always come on down to the elbow to take the pressure off the wrist. And the thing is that sometimes we want to place judgment on things where no judgment is due. We often sink into the shadow because of a judgment when it's only us on the mat. We're here with ourselves and with God. Our power as we recognize that. And then inhale, gaze comes forward. Take a slow walk to reach your hand. You need to bend your knees here. Bend those knees. You can even push with your hands and take a moment to kind of swivel my hips side to side. It looks like I'm wagging my tail if I was a dog. What I'm really wanting to do is create a little space in the hip thigh area and see that melt over those legs so that my chest, my belly can rest on my thighs. And if this is challenging, you're not good for standing, put your chair there, just hang. Sitting in your chair. The idea is to release the neck. And one of the things I really love to do in this pose is a little bit of traction. So I take my thumbs underneath my jawbone and my fingertips underneath that little ridge. And I cup my ears and I just let my head pull down. So it's the weight of my arms that's pulling my head down. I'm not pulling my head down.
Trovare in Dio,
Release your hands if you decided to go that route. Such a great pose for sensory withdrawal. Inhale, come up halfway. You can always use your hands to come up to a flat back. So we're really trying to keep that back nice and straight. Sink enough so that when you stand up, it's coming from your glutes. It's not pulling up. This is different from Pilates. Pilates is great, but that's just, not what we're doing right here at this minute. I use a ton of Pilates. For today, come up with that nice flat back. Go ahead, spread your feet about hip width apart. A little bit wider is fine. Toes are pointing forward at the moment. You're just going to tuck your tailbone. I like to put my thumbs right on those little bumps top of the sacrum. Lift the chest up and over and push the hips forward. So I'm not trying to go into a big deep back bend here, but I'm trying to stretch the hip flexors. Push those hips forward just a little bit. Think about lengthening in the spine. And then exhale, soften the knees. Melt over the legs. Releasing the hands. Inhale, take a half lift. Now you're going to step your right foot back to a low lunge, bringing the knee down to the ground. Toe wheel your foot a little wider. This is kind of like a prenatal yoga movement, but I'm going to give us a chance to sink a little lower in that hip. We're going gentle today, so not a lot of activation here. And then we're rocking back. Inhaling forward. Exhaling back. Now, that back foot, you're going to turn your knee out. You're going to sweep up to your warrior two. Melt into your kneeling warrior two. If knees aren't happy, you can always do this in your chair. Your reach over extended side angle on the knee. Opening through the side body. And then we're going to do some rotations. You're going to exhale, turn your chest towards your leg, as if you were going to lay down on your arm, and then inhale, rolling up to that. If this is a lot for your shoulder, consider placing your hand on your hip. Or even sweeping your arm out in front. One more. And then inhale, you're going to come up to a little higher kneeling pose. Straighten your left leg. And then you're going to reach over. Now this might be a little deep. To place your hand on your hip, reach your hand overhead, or just find this nice length. See the line of energy here? So this is going to be a really active variation of side gate. You can also place your hands on the mat. This is going to be our gentle version today. I know some of you like to go hard, even in a gentle class. So there's the option there. And then whenever I feel my neck getting tight, just loosen it up, shake it a little bit from side to side. Your next exhale, bend in that hip. So I'm sinking my right hip back. As I do that, bringing that left hand down to the ground. Slowly walking back to the middle, hands and knees. Now here I am. All fours one more time. Take 3 rounds of cat-cow. Exhaling. Inhaling. When you do that cat-cow, a lot of times I think we just drop the belly. But let's take it farther. Roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Open through the chest, and even the eyes, the elbows pop forward. One more round. Now come on up to your down dog. Bring your gaze to your hands. You're going to walk forward. Now, if walking up to your hands isn't an option, please feel free to step your foot forward. Use your hand. Come up to your standing. And then once you're there, you can always sink those hips back, keeping your back nice and flat. You know, and just slide your hands down your legs. And a lot of today's practice can be done in a chair. So we could be hanging in our chair here, and even our seated lunges work in our chair. Step your left foot back, lowering that left knee to a low lunge. Hands come inside of the right foot. Taking some gentle rocks here. Let that deepen every time. Melting, softening, releasing. Then rock forward. Maybe you're going to turn your back knee and sweep up into that warrior two. Now, if your shoulders don't feel good, bring your hands to your hips. You know, no worries. Hand can be on the knee. Those of you who are all good here, come out to that warrior two. Here, you're going to rotate. Place your hand on your thigh, and then if you can, you're reaching overhead. Here's where we're going to take those little rotations. Exhaling here. Inhale. Have the hand on the head. Water. Inhale, come on up. Here, shift. So the foot turns in. Outer foot is lined up with the outer edge of the mat. And I'm trying to lean to a nice straight line of energy. Remember, hand on the hip, arm overhead could work, both hands on the hip. Really want to challenge yourself to hold those arms overhead. Deeper stretch, going for the stretch option today. Bring that hand on the fingertips here. You could also use your yoga block. Breathing into side body, the outer hip. 5 good breaths. Keeping space in the neck. Exhale. Roll out. Sink back so the hip sits down like I'm going to sit on my heel. Walk the hands out in front. Take it easy because this can feel intense. Bring that knee back. Exhale. Sink back to your child's pose. Releasing. And this time, you know, earlier you rolled with your forehead. This time roll with the hips. Really trying to swing the hips side to side. Draw your navel up. So I'm tucking the belly up. That's how I'm coming up. Roll the shoulders up, back, and down. It's a nice fluid movement. Toes are tucked, chest expanded. Push into the hand. Lift it. Down dog. We're just using this as a transition. You're going to step your left foot forward, and you can just step it, bring the knee down, foot comes up, or straight step there, and then rotate to the center. So a wide leg forward fold. Here, my knees are bent, okay, and you might want to put your elbows on your thighs. Even if you have the flexibility to go here, I'm going to turn sideways. Sometimes it's really great to do this because you're pushing with your arms, and if you notice that as I take my shoulders away from my ears and kind of lengthen back, my hip flexors can soften and I can create space in that sacrum, which can feel like a really good release. And then pushing with the arms always is opening, and it's active for the quads. And then everyone melts and sinks over, so I'm still in that plie position for all you dancers. Melt it down. And really what we're focusing on is softening that hip flexor, releasing, letting it go. Kind of an awkward looking posture. Super wide. As you straighten your legs, try to turn your heels so that they're lined up with the outside edges of your mat. Now, you could place your hands on a piece of furniture here or on your yoga block, sitting straight up if it's hard for you to reach the floor. And then with an exhale, you're going to just bend one knee. And again, toes are turned in, which feels awkward, but it lets us go a little deeper into those adductors. Those are the muscles that bring our legs together, which we use so much more frequently than the muscles on the outside. So the muscles on the inside get extremely tight, and we feel that imbalance in our body. So it's really important to release those adductors, using your breath as you inhale and exhale. So you're exhaling from side to side. Inhaling through the center. And coming on back, rotating those toes. Now lower your knee. Bring your foot back and find a way to a sitting position. Take your legs out in front of you. We're going to do a little wrist stretch here. So you're going to take your fingers back towards your body, press them down. You can flex your toes here. So you're flexing the toes, just rocking gently from side to side, releasing the wrists, letting it go. This is staff pose in a variation, moving the wrists. And then you're going to reach up, take your peace fingers, see if you can catch your right big toe, and then bring your right foot inside your thigh. So you're going to push that inside the thigh. You keep the hips closed here. So if you lean forward, you'd be coming into this middle open area. And then what we want to do is rotate. So we pull through the ribs and then reach out, see if we can catch the shin, even extend. But the idea is that it comes from lengthening through the back, keeping a nice flat back, melting over the leg. Maybe you can even kiss that knee. Janya Shirshasana, head to knee pose. My favorite yoga poses of all time. Inhale to come on up. Some people say you need to raise your arms. I don't really subscribe to that. I think as long as you come up with a flat back, it's all good. You're going to take your knee out and just shake that knee. Take your left piece fingers, bring them around your big toe, placing that left foot right inside the thigh. If this is not a stretch for you, maybe you know half lotus, feel free to go there. I'm going to go for Janu Shashasana today, reaching out. So see, if I reach out, I'd be on an angle. So I need to rotate my chest so it comes over the leg. I'm aiming for sternum over knee, reaching out like my heart's reaching out over those toes, and then slowly surrendering. My son is in the corner and he says, this feels pretty sticky. And I think that some of you might feel like this feels sticky too. And that's okay. That's why we're doing it. So send the breath into those sticky spots. Inhale to come up and shake the knees out, let it go. Here, we're going to come into a wide leg forward fold. Vipassana. Legs are nice and wide. Slowly walking the hands out. That might be enough. In my opinion, this is one of the more underused yet super effective postures in the yoga dictionary, we'll call it, or Pictionary. And I'm aiming to get my belly button on the ground, but not letting my feet roll in, rather letting my knees stay up to the sky. So right now I'm aiming to get my belly button on the ground, but keep the knees facing up towards the sky and fold over. If you can, you're able to, you can always relax. I didn't say this going into the pose, but you could sit up on a block or something if it's really uncomfortable for your hips. Just sit like this. And then you're going to make your way onto your back. The legs are going to come wider than hip width apart. And I like to imagine that they're the outside edges of the mat. That's like a good visual guideline for you. Let your arms come into goal post and then let your knees simply fall from side to side, flowing with your breath. Give yourself a little hip release here. Now, you're going to bring the knees up to neutral. Take your feet together for reclined cobbler's pose. Here you may want to place your hands in T position. And you're going to bring your left knee in and kick that left foot out. Swing it back through the middle so the toes touch and you're kicking. Little twist, little active twist. Let that slow down. Coming back into your cobbler's pose when you feel even on both sides. Give yourself time to settle so we're not in a rush. You're going to bring your knees up to a neutral position. Straighten your right leg. hug your left knee. From here, you could keep your hand on your knee and bring your leg across your body. Again, that arm is in a goalpost. You're going to go a little deeper into your external rotators, which we haven't done a lot of today. You're going to try to straighten that leg. And even here, with my knee slightly bent, I feel a really nice stretch. And turn your head away. Sometimes I straighten the leg, and I really have to think about extending that hip away from my shoulder. But it changes the stretch. So I'm not telling you to do one or the other. Do what feels good in your body. And then send the breath into that tight space. Again, this is an active pose. I'm pushing the hip away from the shoulder. It feels really good. It's very breathy. It's calm. But at the same time, I'm actively lengthening my spine. And then if your foot is out, just let go of your foot. Don't try to bring it back. Let go of the foot and come back to neutral from there. Bending the knees, taking a moment to let that settle. Then you're going to hug your right knee, extend your left leg. Take your right hand to the outside of the foot if you like, or to the knee. That's totally fine, taking your twist. Outside of the foot, knee can stay bent. You're going to feel it in your glutes a lot more. Sometimes it's nice to stay in each place for a second and just oh yeah, feel that good release there. And then think about extending the hip and slowly straightening the leg. Now you might get there and go, you know what, this just doesn't feel like a good stretch here, but it did feel like a good stretch when my knee was bent. So feel free to return to the stretch that your body needs on that side. Even flexing the foot and pushing the knee up a little bit, like I'm pushing it up and in, can also feel like a really good stretch through the hip, the glutes. And if you're holding your foot, let go of your foot. Go ahead and bring your leg back to neutral. I'm going to invite you to take a fish pose. Now, if fish is not comfortable for you, you could place a bolster or a pillow under your spine, but keep your hips on the ground. What I'm thinking about doing is pressing my sit bones into the earth, so I'm creating an arch in the low back, and then using that arch, so I'm kind of picking myself up, pressing with the elbows and shoulders, and then releasing the head back. Sometimes it helps, especially in the beginning, to have the hands locked under the bum. But then as you get more comfortable, you may not need to do that. You may feel a deeper connection, or even cut the legs to help you lift and open. If you have neck issues, you're not going to want to let your head go back. It's going to be all about the chest. Finally, releasing into your Shavasana. Take a moment to tuck those shoulder blades, soften, and surrender. And if you felt the shadow creep in, I don't understand, I don't know the words she's saying. You know, those are shadow thoughts. Those are tendencies that, you know, we drive ourselves into this subconscious level of existence and reiterate those things that we really don't want to be bringing into fruition in our lives. So as you lie here, and you let your thoughts roll, not attaching to them, but letting that sea of energy, of thought energy, simply pass through. When you notice thoughts that are rooted in negativity or in, you know, emotional baggage or the shadow, let yourself be conscious of it, but let the shadow know that you choose to stand in the light and let that thought roll. I am light. I'm in the light. I walk in the light. And imagine that light just beaming down and enveloping you as a gift of grace, mercy. As you feel yourself bathed in the light, connect to the radiant one. To the radiant light that beams from you and to you. Because you can always choose to reflect the light. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. And use your inhale to reach your arms up and overhead. Take a big stretch, so really dig in there. Maybe even yawn like me, like, oh yeah. Hug the knees. And roll off to one side. Use your hands to make your way back up to a nice, comfortable seat. And then bring those hands to the heart, reminding yourself that when you choose to stand in the light, you radiate light. You radiate love. You radiate all of those things that your heart truly desires. So make those conscious commitments as you walk through your day, through your week, month, year, and let it flow naturally into your life. You don't even have to think about it or consider it. Simply allow yourself to soar. Those wings of your heart expand, radiate, open. Namaste.